important it is to you. And as we bring in this new year, it's a new season, new beginnings. It's nice to have that foundation of peace walking through your life. And that's something that I had a hard time coming by when I was younger. I spent a lot of my life tormented, beat down, broken, got myself in trouble, jail, this and that. And so my life has been one where I've understood the lack of peace. And that's a really troubling place to kind of find yourself. And so I wanted to share a little bit about me. My name is Ryan Bailey. I am the founder of ATF Lifestyle Event Ministry. Behind Foster Kids United, we are the entity that is putting this on. And so I'm excited to be here. But more than that, I wanted to introduce a little bit about myself so that way I could share a gift with you. And it's a gift that God gave me, and I just cannot keep it personal. It's one of those things I got to share with everybody because the amount of peace that it's brought in my life is absolutely amazing. And as we get a little more into my story, you'll understand that the lack of peace is something I understand. And so when peace comes my way, I definitely relish it, and it means a lot to me. And so God introduced himself to me when I was younger. I went to a Christian daycare when I was 5. And I say he introduced himself to me because honestly, that's the way I feel about it. My mom's side of my family, they weren't really church going. There was nothing really Christian about the aspects of their life. They claimed to know Jesus and they spoke about him occasionally, but to me to end up in a Christian daycare was completely out of character. It was just not a situation. I think it had to do more with my mom's circumstances than anything. And so I was 5, I ended up in a Christian daycare, and God introduced himself to me as my loving Father in heaven. And that's a really big factor in my foundation of what is my faith. And so I think it was a really beautiful gift that God came in and introduced himself and said, "Hey Ryan, this is who I am. I'm your loving Father and I want to take care of you." Of course at the age 5 you don't really know what that's going to turn into later. And by the age 13, there were situations going on in my life that I couldn't understand. And because I couldn't understand it, I got mad at God, right? He's my loving Father in heaven. He's built to take care of me. He promises all these things in the Bible, but here my life was falling apart. And it wasn't just falling apart because of the choices I made. It was falling apart because situations within my family, some of the closest people that you grow up with can hurt you. And it might not be intentional, but hurting people hurt people. And so my family life, when I was growing up, it showed me what stability looked like, but there were things that happened when I was older that really pushed me away from it. And so I was physically abused by my mother's husband, and so that kind of left me angry and frustrated, and I didn't want to have anything to do with my mom's side of my family. But you're there and you're stuck with them, it's your mom, so you can't really do anything about it. And so with that, I also lost my grandpa that same year. And so with everything that was going on, it left me tormented, confused, frustrated, broken. I didn't know what was going on, but I do know that at that time in my life, I blamed God. I blamed him for taking my grandpa. I blamed him for giving me the family that I had and the love that I just felt neglected from. And so at 13, my understanding of God became angry, and he became the guy on the other side of the fence that, left me frustrated, angry, and confused. And with that, confused, broken, angry, and young, I made some really stupid decisions. By 15, I had 5 felonies on my juvenile record. By 20, I had 7 on my record with probably 15 plus misdemeanors. I lived a life of destruction. Not necessarily on purpose. It was just, I was broken, and my choices reflected that brokenness. And so I was making decisions on what I felt was best for me in the moment. And so I really put myself in a lot of really hard, broken situations that, I look back on now and know that God used those and helped give me understanding to what the broken world is experiencing. If we can go out into our culture today, we can look around and we can see depression, broken, anxiety, stress, worry, all these things that are, strife-filled and full of the devil, and the devil is running rampant. And so, it's an understanding that I cherish today, because that broken world is something that I can look at and say, hey, I know what you're going through. I know you just need a hand, or somebody used to tell you that they love you and are willing to walk with you. And so that's what that brokenness in those situations gave me in the past. just during the time, it didn't feel that way. From our perspective, things are pretty miserable, especially when we're in the heat of the storm. And so I really cherish every broken day I've ever had. God let me walk myself into some of those trials on purpose, but I wouldn't change any of it for the world. And so as I got a little bit older and created a little more destruction and broke my life just a little bit more, ended up with some more felonies and more jail time. I'm telling you, I was broken and made decisions that reflected that. But each and every step that I took, God was leading me to here. I'm up here right now, first time today, but basically I'm here with a bunch of friends, a bunch of brothers, and a bunch of people that understand brokenness that are here to come celebrate together. And so, as my life went on, God developed himself more and more into my life. And it wasn't just in a way that he's here for us and he loves us and, that he wants to take care of us. It was in a way that revealed to me that even in my brokenness, even when I was out in the wilderness, in jail, God was still with me and he was still trying to lead me back home. And even though I experienced the brokenness, wisdom and understanding come from God. My wisdom and understanding, it just happens to be on the dark side and broken things of life. But honestly, the world is living like that right now. And so to have that understanding is a beautiful gift. But basically, to kind of get to where I'm going with all of this is, God, in all my destruction, he ended up giving me a gift. One that surpasses all understanding, one that I can't calculate as anything other than grace-filled, mercy-filled, and with love. And during one of my hardest trials, one of the biggest things, I was absolutely destroyed. And so it was breaking, and I didn't know what to do, and I definitely didn't know how to walk or fight the good fight of faith. And we know faith is what pleases God. And so here I am in that situation thinking that God must be pissed right now because here I am absolutely shattered over what's going on in my life and I don't know how to walk faithfully in this situation. And so I'm begging God, teach me. How do I fight the good fight of faith? How do I look at all this destruction and understand that it's supposed to be good for me? This is difficult, and from my perspective, it felt miserable. Hindsight's 2020, and now I see that what I walked through was absolutely perfect from God's perspective because it led me here today. But during that situation, God gave me a gift. He showed me how to fight the good fight of faith. He gave me a understanding that in the heat of the moment, in that battle, that what I can do to be able to surrender everything. Because that's one of my biggest problems, is how do I let go of all these storms I'm carrying around and the devil's whispering in my ear how much bad stuff is going on. How do I let that go, God? And he came in and gave me an answer that is so simple, so loving, and so profound. And it's changed not only my life, but my family's life. The few people around us that have had the opportunity to check it out, it's filled with grace. It's filled with love. But most importantly, it's full of peace. God gave me and my family the peace that surpasses all understanding. And I can't take any credit for any of that. I can just be grateful with a thankful heart knowing that God did this for me. And it's something that I want to share with you. I actually wrote a book, Formula for God-Given Peace. And it is on sale now. We tried to have some copies here today, but we were unfortunately unable to get to it. We do have some QR codes and some ways to get you guys connected, but it's the formula for God-given peace. And I say that proudly. And I say that because of the destruction that I felt and the destruction I walked myself into back then. I now know what peace looks like today. Because I know the darkness, I can feel the peace. It washes over you, it takes over your life. And there is not anything in my life that is not immediately surrendered into God's hands. And so this beautiful gift of peace comes with a beautiful understanding of who God is and what he is trying to do and what he's been asking from us since the beginning. He wants us to trust and love that he does have our best intentions at heart. Even if we can't see through the storm, the brokenness that we're facing, all things work together for good for those who love him and are called according to his purposes. So come and join this family with me. Come, join this adventure with ATF Ministry and what we're doing, because it is a life filled with peace. It has been a gift to us, and I can't be selfish and hold it in. I want to share it with you. And so if you guys are interested, if you want to spend this new year in peace and just have a new revelation kind of wash over you, like I said, not my own doing, but God's, let me share this gift with you and come back there and check out and talk with me a little bit more about what we got going on. And I'd love to share more about the book with you. And even more about my broken life if you guys have questions, because believe me, I've experienced it all. But on that note, what I did want to say, oh yeah, okay, nice. We do have the QR codes. You can't see it up here, but back over there by the Foster Kids United table, we have QR codes, things like that. If you guys have questions,
It's 99
I'd love to share the
cents.
book with you. And so, come speak with me.
It's 99 cents.
It is 99 cents right now too. Yeah, my wife is yelling at me. She's a digital marketer, everybody, and so it's 99 cents. If you guys have 99 cents to spare and you want to come join on this adventure with me, I encourage you to do so because basically it's a huge family. We're creating a family together with peace, and we just want to continue to grow that family with you guys. We're so grateful you guys are here. This is our first event, first endeavor, and so without you guys, it would be us in a big empty room and me talking to myself, so I appreciate that you guys